Oh, our selection here. Um, it's going to be great. We're going to be talking about all of our favorites and, the pluses and minuses of everything. But I'm thankful to see everybody in the side chat, and I'm thankful to see everybody in the side panel. I'm going to be in and out tonight because I have a house full of people, but I will be checking in. So, Mark with a C, carry on.
I plan to carry on all night.
Yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here. Been a week. Anyway, I've got a couple of things done. Done some leather projects and got those shipped off. Had done some reloading. Was intended to get out to the range this week, but that didn't happen yet. We'll see if maybe Sunday morning we could do something with that. And just been looking forward to hanging out with my friends this evening. Glad to be here.
Thanks for being here, brother. Let's just slide across there to Mister Hillbilly Up. How you doing there, brother?
Man, I'm doing fine and finer than frog here, buddy. I mean, I just look forward to Friday night every night, just having a good time with you guys. I mean, I love it. Great side chat out there already, rock and rolling. And man, I just love Friday nights. I enjoy it so much. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here.
Well, thank you for being here. Let's go up and say hello to Mister Walter. How you doing, brother?
I'm just a thrill a minute over here on the left side of the country. Everything's good. We had a morning here where I could actually see the sun when I woke up this morning. That doesn't happen too often here on the coast at this time of year. It's usually foggy, but had a nice day here. And this week, what have I got done? I got some casting and some loading and some shooting done, and we got a Moldy Monday video getting ready to go for this coming Monday. So life is carrying on here, as Jamie Howell would say.
Who's that guy?
It's all good.
Thanks for being
So,
here, man.
hey, it's my pleasure. It's something I look forward to all week long. First thing I think about when I wake up in the morning is, hey, it's Georgia night. It's really fun. So thanks for inviting me as always.
Well, thank you for being here. There's Mister Andy 79Z28. I hope we're having fun. We're fixing to start having some fun. Mister Weasel, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? It's Friday. Yeah, it's always good to be here, man. Appreciate it. Uh, like Waller said, man, look forward to it when I can be here. So it's always a pleasure. Lots of good folks. And we got the hard seltzer drinker himself down there. Yeah, yeah. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. We'll get to that.
Okay, that's going to be big time fun. We've got some pretty good topics. If y'all read the description, we're going to be talking about some of our favorites, which will naturally lead to some of not so much of our favorites. Mister Chris from the 740, how you doing, buddy?
Very good. Thanks for the invite. I been looking forward to this all day. And, glad to be here tonight. Ready to have some fun.
I appreciate you making it a priority to come in and chat with us this evening. Thank you for being here, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Mister Gene, how you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm doing better than I should be able to be doing. That's for sure. Yeah, had a pretty good week. Everything's going pretty good, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Always look forward to Friday nights with my brothers here on the Georgia Shooting Connection. I'm trying to stream this over onto my channel tonight. I've been kind of like reluctant to do that because I'm not so techno. But I'm ready to hear about this hillbilly up and his innocent looking facade, backdoor seltzer drinker guy. Yeah, we know. We know now.
Yeah,
Doggone it, at least it ain't Bud Light.
Point.
yeah. We're going to talk. For those of you that live in a cave in South America somewhere or whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we're in the midst of a fundraiser for our buddy Lakeview Outdoors. Tony and his wife are having, well, his wife's having medical issues, and they need all the help we can get for them. And there's Andy, I saw that video, man. We want an update. We want an update as soon as you get it up there. Anyway, as I was saying, if y'all can donate anything, please get in touch with the Weasel. It was his idea, so we'll. You want to talk about that for a minute, Scotsman?
Sure, man. No, I appreciate that. It's Lakeview is going through some things with his wife. She's struggling, and treatments are expensive. So people have stepped up to the plate. And so far, at this point in time, everyone who has sent money to myself has not asked for any entries in anything. So that is absolutely awesome. At this point in time, the last number I can give you right now, I still got to go to the P.O. Box tomorrow and see what else is in there. But as of right now, we have $3,000. So the goal is 10 grand. And as of this point in time, we're right at 3. We do have our own Edward Petty. He is out there inside, who has started making videos, and I encourage him to make more. Edward, please do so. You did a good job the first one, man. Keep it up. And the one that you sent me was perfect. So I'm going to edit, make that into a video with him in that video. And you guys will see what's coming up there with Edward Petty. But Edward has stepped up to the plate to help us out big time with something very, very cool as far as that goes. And then we got Hillbilly Up right down here. The hard seltzer drinker himself. And he stepped up to the plate. So I've got a mass email out there. And everyone's going to send him hard seltzer so he can drink multiple all night long on that live stream. That's what I got going. So I told you I had something special for you, buddy.
Oh, man, you did that.
Make sure everyone makes sure it's Bud Light seltzer.
Oh, man.
Okay. I got a question, Hillbilly. If you said originally that you would drink a hard seltzer if you raised a minimum of $200.
Yes,
So
sir.
is that one hard seltzer for every $200? So like if you raised $1,000, are you going to drink 5 of them?
Well, I'll tell you what. I would drink. I will try to drink. I mean, I throw some of it up, but I will try to drink on air a hard seltzer for every $200. Well, at first I was going to put like, okay, if we reach like $5,000, I'll drink a hard seltzer. And I'm like, people say, well, you only put that number way up there so you wouldn't have to. So I'm like, okay, I'll give everybody a fair chance. And it's something I don't want to do, but, you know, Lakeview is an awesome guy. I mean, you know, yeah, I'll drink one hard seltzer for every per $200.
All right, buddy. I'll tell you what. And this is actually what's going to happen if we can make it happen. If you raise $1,000, and guys out there, pay attention. If Hillbilly can raise $1,000, I will jump on there with him, and Lord Almighty, I will drink a hard seltzer too.
All right.
And I have no idea what in the hell that is.
It's. Do you like to drink fruity
No.
wine that has a bunch of
No.
bubbles in it?
No.
That's pretty much what it is. I mean, I drink my coffee black. I don't like care for a lot of sweet stuff other than my wife, and so it's just not my game. I don't like bubbly
I will
sweet
take
stuff.
one for the team if you can raise $1,000.
All right, let's do it, guys.
So that means
I would have to drink 5 then.
if the weasel drinks 1, you got to drink 5. And I'm telling y'all, tune in. Not tomorrow night. Well, tune in tomorrow night too. But
It's the 22nd.
yeah, that will be next Saturday night. And watch Hillbilly spew on air, live, and then live in Technicolor on a live stream.
You know what? I might go out there and get one of them feed sacks for that we put on the mules. They're in the turnstile generating electricity so I can get internet. I might get one of their feed sacks put in front of me so I can just throw up on it. Because I'm afraid I might throw up.
I know you will.
You know what I think's going to happen? I think he's going to crack open that Bud Light seltzer and take a drink, grow some berry wings. Tutu's going to sprue out of his pants, and he's going to go tiptoeing off into the tulips on live stream. That's what I think's going to happen.
Man, if I drink 5 hard seltzers, I'm probably going to ride away on a unicorn on a rainbow.
I got a funny feeling you're going to be calling 911.
Oh, my goodness.
This is going to be cool. So we'll go through the side chat in just a few minutes. All right, Chris, you had a very successful stream Wednesday night. What was your total? 1,200?
We raised $1,250 for Lakeview. So we had $1,050 from the chat, and then $200 money order we got mailed out from another listener. So
Dang it, man. If we'd have had Hillbilly on the hook, he'd be drinking a 6-pack of that stuff.
Jamie, I don't want to interrupt, but my wife has been listening to this, and she has something to say. Go ahead.
If you guys make him drink 5 hard seltzers, I am not cleaning up the throw up.
make him sleep
There it
outside.
goes. So I'm going to clean that up myself, too.
Whenever
You're excused,
he actually
girl. You're
wakes up
excused.
from the coma he's in, he can clean up his own.
There you are.
Yeah.
He has written his own ticket on this adventure.
You just drag him into that new pool and throw him in it, man.
But to tell you what a brother I am, Hillbilly, I'll drive out there and help you clean it up.
All right. Well, while you're out here, we'll shoot what's left that people send.
I don't even know. Do hard seltzers come in 6-packs? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, like, how it started was my wife got some, I don't know, Truly or White Claw or something. And she tried, she's like, nah. She likes, some fruity wine, but she goes, this is too bubbly, like that Zima stuff or Alka-Seltzer. I don't know what I mean, it all tastes the same to me. And so I'm like, well, I'll try one. It was like black cherry, I believe. I'm like, try. And oh my gosh, I drank like a couple drinks of that, and then my stomach just started like bubbling and rumbling, and I'm like, it was really sweet and really bubbly, and I couldn't take it. So I went out and shot what we had left, and that's how it all started. And people has been sending it to me, and so. And a lot of times they'll send 11 packs, Jamie. They're like, you're right. I tried this. I didn't like it. And so it'll be like a 12 pack with one missing and tape on it, So.
So Weasel, does your $3,000 include Chris's?
No, that does not include Chris's. That's completely separate.
All right,
Doesn't
so
include
that would
Chris's.
be 4,100 and 4,250 bucks.
And we don't want to forget Val either. Val's got his thing going on, and I know he's raised money already.
Right.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. Oh, Scotsman, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Alan come real close to getting his head shaved the other night on Chris's channel. And would that might happen on a Sunday night at the round table?
Well, unfortunately, we don't do super chats anymore on my channel. I did get rid of that stuff just because of some of the BS going on with YouTube back. I don't know, it was probably about a year or two ago. However, if people wanted to commit to sending a check or sending this or that, then if Alan is willing to accept the commitment and shave his head on the commitment, then yes.
Okay. He come really close the other night. I mean, real close.
I saw that, and if I could have stayed a little longer, I probably would have donated the rest and made it happen. Because I watched the replay, and it's like, man, dude, I was like 10, 15 minutes more I could have watched of that. Ugh. It was right there. But I had to go to work, so couldn't watch anymore.
so CW, I just got a text from CW. He's having technical troubles.
Paul Loud, no, I'm sending that 3,000 directly to Lakeview. That's probably going to be going out tomorrow.
I might have sent that link too soon tonight. It ain't coming through a picture tonight. Something's not jihawing just right.
Oh, you spill some Jiffy Mix on your computer?
No. Only Jiffy Mix in this house is what you sent me. It's in the cupboard. I do want to try some pancakes. I have not heard anything from Johnny's Reloading Bench in a minute. He's probably frustrated. And I'm also, I mean, his channel is based on what YouTube is censoring us out of and away from. Like, I've got my 308 first video of that series is done and uploaded. I just hadn't turned it public yet because I got a age restriction on it. Gene told me I shouldn't worry about it. Lakeview, since you asked, I'll show you if y'all want to see it. Y'all, who wants to see the bench?
Sure. Turn the camera on. Show it, man. It's nice.
Let me blow this up. So I got a shelf low.
Nice.
The main bench, and then I got another shelf. Got pegboard.
Nice setup, Jamie.
and it is. There's my box. So yeah, it's 8 foot long, 2 feet deep. The main surface is 42 inches tall, and that top shelf up there is 5 foot 2 inches, which would be even with my eyeballs. And then I think that bench down there, that the shelf is like 19 inches off the floor. So there's that. Jason, I wished I had a Dillon to put on it. Then again, I don't.
You're
Was
still
that a-
young yet.
Was that a bottle opener I seen for when Hillbilly comes up to open his seltzers?
Yeah. I can send you a hard seltzer to put on that bench too, buddy.
Mr. Pollard said it looks a lot like his. I gotta say this. Uh, you know, Uncle Jim, I was talking with him, and he was telling me that he just threw one up out of 2x4s, and he kind of encouraged me to. That gave me the encouragement to start formulating the idea. Now here it is, 6, 8 months later, and I finally got it together. I'm glad you got to see it, Mark. And of course, I emailed Mock a picture of it the other day, and he says, "Man, that's going to hold a lot of clutter." I'm like, that's why I built it.
To hold the clutter?
No, not to have the
Oh.
clutter.
Oh.
But you know, anything that's flat and there's nothing on it becomes the catch-all for everything we bring in the house. Y'all realize that, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
My reloading bench is a mess. I was down there doing some load ups for 10 millimeter take out tomorrow. And yeah, it's still a mess.
There's she fires and ting ting.
Yeah, I mean, my wife don't give me much room in the closet. I was thinking about buying a piece of exercise equipment to hang my clothes on.
A
Talking about
treadmill or a bicycle, stationary bike, either one.
Yeah.
Really good for that.
Great wardrobe.
Absolutely.
Hey, if you can find it, go to a garage sale and see if you can find you one of those gazelles, the ones you do this on. Man, those things make great hangers. I had one for the longest time, and then ended up moving and just didn't have space for it anymore. Actually, the new place had a closet. So I just left the gazelle behind. I miss that old gazelle.
No, see, Jamie, you bring up an excellent point, man. So I got 2 benches, and both benches are cluttered because that's what happens when you're a reloader. So that takes us to our topic for the night.
Absolutely.
Various things of what do you like and why, prefer, and so on and so forth. So
Yeah, we wanted to start, since we're mainly a reloading thing, chat. We wanted to start with what's everybody's favorite brand of reloading equipment. And since he's sitting there quiet and patient, let's jump on Chris from the 740, see what his favorite brand is.
When you sent me that email today, it got me thinking, and I was down in the reloading room. I've been reloading some 6.5 to Creedmoor today, and I got to looking around, and I definitely say probably 75% of my stuff's all RCBS. So, I'd have to say that I got the turret press, which is our RCBS, and my Charge Master, but I do have my Progressives Elite. But most of my dies and everything are all RCBS.
I have a lot of RCBS dies, but I'm moving toward I'm starting to really like those the Hornady custom grade dies. I'm really liking those because I spent $22 and got that micrometer seating thing, and then I turned around and got the Frankfurt Arsenal Universal uh, bullet seating die, which is kind of weird. We'll get. I should probably do a video on that thing. It's pretty cool. Mark Thomas, you're quiet too. What's your favorite brand of stuff?
Well, I guess as far as presses go, it's got to be Lee because that's all that's on my bench. I've started out with what I could afford, and so far it's been working fine. I do have a mishmash of other equipment, a bunch of different dies. I kind of do like those RCBS dies. They're pretty nice. All my other equipment is just a whole mix. I do not have any of the blue stuff, not yet. Guess we'll wait and see. But everything's still working, so I guess that's going to be my favorite.
Absolutely. Idaho, the whole time I was building this bench, I had you on my mind. And the reason why is I bought the lumber at our local Lowe's and the woods all the way from Idaho. And it says on the end of the 2x4s, it says Idaho Forest Group. So I got to wonder did Idaho truck this stuff in here? Probably not. I'd hate to think he was in my town and didn't call me. But yeah, there we go. Paul Loud presses I have from Dillon, Forster, and RCBS. I do not have anything Dillon or Forster. Who's next? Hillbilly up. Don't reload, so there's that. Weasel.
Oh man, that's a mixed bag right there. You know, there's so many different companies and so many different things that we all prefer, and 95% of the dies I have are all Lee dies. Just because they work. I've never had a single problem with Lee dies, other than the decapping die, which everyone has issues with that. But as far as presses go, man, I've got multiple, and they all work for various different things. Like Dillon, I prefer the Dillon for doing a mass batch of 9mm or a mass batch of 44 Magnum, thanks to Lakeview. Lakeview hooked me up here, I don't know, a year or so ago with 44 Mag dies for the Dillon. So that was much appreciated for sure, man. And they work well. I rocked out some of that last year, and no issues there. I mean, it's a little bit for a changeover on a Dillon, but just take your time and pay attention to what you're doing. But overall, it's not too bad. The biggest thing I would say on a Dillon when you do a changeover is don't forget that little dang plastic piece that sits in the powder bar, because that will screw you if you forget that little piece to take it out of the one and put it back in the one you're going to use. It will screw you every time. Crank
Jamie,
that
can I
handle,
get
powder starts coming down.
Jamie, can I give a quick shout out? I want to say hi to Ron the Bullet Guy. He's out there listening in the side chat, and he is the owner of Steel Valley Casting that Daniel and I both just did videos for. So just wanted to say hi to him and thank him for stopping by. I think it's his first time here.
Well, I appreciate him coming in as well. Ron the Bullet Guy from, what's the name of the company again?
He owns Steel Valley Casting in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I think I've seen some of your videos with some of his stuff on there. So that's cool. Nice to have him with us. Uh, he should come on here and talk about bullets because if you're on this panel and you cast your own bullets, raise your hand. Yeah, he'd feel right at home. And I'm raising my hand for Kyle too. So there's that. So CW, how you doing, brother?
Oh, a few minutes, I'll be better.
I understand.
I don't know what happened. It just
Takes
wouldn't.
about 30 minutes for the volume to kick in, doesn't it?
It just wouldn't. It just wouldn't cooperate. I had to restart the whole thing. I had to kick the snail off the wheel and everything, the squirrel off the wheel and everything.
You still run dial up?
No, I got cable, but it just was. I don't know. It just wasn't. Right hand didn't know the left hand was even there.
It happens, man.
Yeah, it kept giving me 404. Like, this isn't here. I go on my phone, I can pull it right up. There you are. But on the computer, the address wouldn't work, and it's the same address. So it just was being ornery. But I restarted, and it still wouldn't take it. I had to go to the home page and take it off there. But I'm here, so it doesn't matter.
So, Duffer, I have Hornady beam scales, and I have what's the other one? The Lyman Ohio 502s. I like those much better than the Hornady. The Hornady ain't jiving with everything else, and that's the only reason I don't really like them. So, everything else is telling me one thing, and the Hornady is telling me something else. So either all my scales are wrong except for the Hornady, or the Hornady ain't working like it's supposed to. And you know what I've learned? If you do this thing called read the instructions, you could probably get the stuff to work right, you know. So there. We're talking about our favorite brand of presses right now and reloading equipment. So, Walter, you ready to go?
Sure. Yeah. And I'm going to say I don't really have a favorite. I have a favorite press that does a specific job. So I've got a whole bunch of presses like a lot of us do of all the different colors. If I got a big batch of my pet loads for the 45, the 9 mil, the 40 Smith & Wesson, you know, if I'm going to go do 300 rounds, then it's going to go over to the Dillon 550. If I've got 50 or, you know, rounds or so that I'm going to, you know, dash off to go to the range, you know, tonight, that's probably going to happen on the little Lee Classic turret press. But if I'm doing load development where I want a little bit tighter tolerances, and I'm going to do 2 magfuls, 7 rounds each for a 45 auto to go try, and I want everything to be just right, then that's going to probably happen on the Redding T7. But I've got an RCBS press, and I've got another couple of Lee presses and stuff floating around. So kind of depends on what the job is. And of those 3 main ones I have, the Lee Classic turret, the Redding T7, and the Dillon 550, I can't say that either of those are my favorite, but each of them has their job that I use them for, and I use them for that job because they're the best at doing that job. So as far as dies go, I've got Lyman and Hornady and RCBS and Redding and Lee. I've got mixes of all of those. And if you ever watch my videos and see what I put on top of a turret press or anywhere else, it may have one of each of the above in there. So I picked the die that does that particular station the best. But I would say overall, I started off with RCBS dies, and I kind of like the RCBS dies. You know, I like the fact that when you buy a cedar die, at least for the handgun rounds that I'm shooting, you get 2 cedar plugs, you know, 2 different cedar stems, a round nose and a semi-wad cutter. And I like the cowboy dies for my cast bullets. I think they did a good thing there. You know, got a few sets of Redding dies, and they're nice too. They've got some good things. There's a couple of Redding dies specifically that I really like a lot, and one of them is their profile crimp die. I got more of those than Redding sets, so I'll say, but that's a good die to have. So that's kind of where I am. I can't, say that one color is any better than the other, provided you've got the job dialed in for that particular press. And, if your press ain't doing that job well, then try one of your other ones, so that's where I am with it.
Absolutely, man. So Hot Pot, you ready?
Sure. Well, I'm like everybody else. I mainly use a lot of Lee equipment, Lee dies. I have a couple sets of RCBSs. I use some Frankfurt Arsenal odds and ends here and there. Some Lyman stuff, like Lyman gauge checker. Yeah, just a little bit of this and that, man, just as I've been reloading and collecting items.
I think a lot of us started with Lee stuff.
It, like Boulder said, as long as you've got everything dialed in, if it's working for you, it's working. Some people are like what they call brand whores, where everything has to be blue, everything has to be green, everything has to be red. But everybody makes good equipment. It's just depending on what are you doing.
Yeah, I kind of agree there. Go ahead, Walter. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say the same kind of thing. There might be your decapping die might be from one company, but that might be the only die you have from them, because for you it does the best job, and you might like somebody else's sizing die because it does a better job for you, and somebody else's cedar die because it's a micrometer, like that one that you got, Jamie, and it does a better job. And so you might have a whole mix of stuff, and like Gene was saying, find out what's working for you and run with it. Doesn't matter if they're all the same color or not.
No, and that's one of the big things too. It's always a learning thing. No matter what stage you're in, no matter how long you've been doing this, it's always learning constantly. Doesn't matter what press you have, doesn't matter what dies you have, doesn't matter, all the skills you have over the years of doing this stuff. It's constantly a learning experience.
There's Trapper. All right, we're going to let CW talk, and then we're going to run through the side chat and say good evening to everybody.
So favorite presses, single stage or turret press, probably RCBS and Redding. I really like the looks of that mech, and I'd really like to have one. Just gotta find a way to justify it. But the RCBS Rock Chucker and Redding T7 are just tremendous presses. I was actually talking to Jamie about this a little bit a couple days ago, and I started this question on a couple of forums, and all three forums were profoundly RCBS Rock Chucker as a number one used, liked, preferred reloading press. And it's a darn good choice. It's a solid press. Truthfully, it's not any better than anybody else's of the same design. The Lee Classic Cast, Lyman has one, Redding has one, has a couple. Lyman, Redding, Lee, they all have a very, very similar press that would do absolutely as good a job as any of the others. That mech is a kind of a modified C press, where the Rock Trucker is an O press design. Dies, I tend to lean Redding / RCBS / Lyman in about that order. Hornady's and Lee's are down a couple rungs. They all can work. Some just work better. I've got, I don't know, I've probably got close to 100 sets of dies, probably 50 or 60 different calibers I load. And the only ones that have ever outright failed me is Lee, and it's done it a couple times. But I've had issues with Redding, and I've had issues with RCBS on occasion too. So nobody's perfect. Everybody can make a lemon. Depends on if it's a last thing out on a Friday or first thing in on a Monday morning. You know, it's like anybody else. It can happen. But for progressives, it's got to be Dylan. It's got to be Dylan. And although I've never had a 750 or a 1050, I've run a 650 a little bit, and I really prefer my 550s. They're just automatic enough for me. They run really well. They can do most of the calibers I need them to do, and that would be my choice for progressive press. I think that's all we've done for a topic so far, right, Jamie? Just presses and dies and things.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, CW. When you ran the 650, what issues did you have with it?
It can be primer sensitive. The primer feed is the issue. It doesn't like all primer styles and brands. And it's not easy to fix it. It's not a quick fix to make it work.
No, that's kind of what I figured. It's a consistent issue for me. I fixed a lot of it a couple of years back, but still every now and then I'll still have some issues with primers.
Yeah, the 550 just runs and runs. I've had some issues with the primer feed on the 550 as well, but it's not a design problem. It's not a it's nothing but wrong lube or lube in general. It can drag. That little slider back and forth can drag if you use any kind of a lube that will gum. Anything that's waxy.
Yep.
Graphite can be bad. You've got to either use none or a very, very clean lube.
There's a fellow on YouTube who makes a ball bearing roller with a different flat plate that goes underneath there.
Brush bearing,
the plate is longer, and it looks to. I've been thinking about that because I've had some.
I have it, and it does. I put it on one of mine to try it, and I've got a box with two more of them in it. I got one. One is still under the bench. I don't have it mounted, but I got two of them mounted, and I put it on one to try it, and it does work really well. I got to get it in the other one. I just don't use that. I don't use those very often. I haven't been shooting any kind of need for a lot of ammo since the knee, and I just haven't been using. I think I loaded 50 or 140s on one of them just to do it because I haven't used the press. But I use most of my pistol stuff is done on a little bitty Lee turret 4-holer, which I'm liking more and more. It works really good, but it works for pistol. I wouldn't use it for anything else.
No, it's a simple little press, and it does a good job at that.
So Johnny's out there and said about the 650 being discontinued and coming up with the 750, and asking isn't that why they discontinued it? No, they discontinued it because they basically did all the upgrades that other companies have been selling aftermarket to improve the press. So they went ahead and just did that. Is basically what they did. And then they took the 550 priming system and threw it on the 750.
Kitty has a good question there, Jamie.
I can't keep up. Is it relatively new? There we go.
Yeah, it's back just a few. What presses what were the first two presses you got when you began reloading? I don't know if it was directed at somebody, but it's a good general question. And
Mine
for me,
was
since I'm talking, my first was my grandfather's, and it was a Lyman Junior, which I've done a video on when I got my own, and I did another video with the tool head that I got from our friend down in Florida that he makes up, and I have not done much to get that press on a bench and set up. I have been a little lax, but that's a bigger project. It's going to call for moving some things around, so I haven't tackled it yet. But it's something I want to do because I'm going to feel really good about being able to load some Hornets on that, which was the first caliber I loaded for with my grandfather. So that was my first, and then I guess the next one is going to be a Lyman Spartan. So two Lyman presses for me. Jamie?
my first press was the Lee 4-hole classic turret press, and my second one was the little bitty Lee C press. And I had to upgrade that one because when I'm sizing bullets, I felt like I was about to break it. And I know CW has broke his. Nathan broke one, and so that's when Willie sent me a rock chucker, and so there's that. Kyle, you back yet? No. First two presses, Weasel.
Lyman 4-hole classic turret was the first one, and that was thanks to C-Max guiding me through the process. And then I got the Lyman All-American 8, and then kind of went from there. And I'll tell you that Lyman All-American 8 is a fantastic press. I have, I don't know, 5 or 6 turrets for that thing, and works like a charm. Yeah, it's a little bit on the slower side, but overall, you want really good ammunition, it works really well.
I do. Lyman is about a dozen miles or so away.
Okay. Let's hold where we're at and say hi to the side chat. There's New York Outcast.
You gonna call out a name or something, Jamie?
Uh,
So Walter can be
one of
first.
let's use my favorite. Everybody type in T7. And we'll call your name out on TV. How about that? And then we'll pick up with Walter and the rest of the guys about your first two reloading presses. So looks like we got Steve's Woodworking in Homestead. What's going on, brother? I got a box from you, by the way. I need to go find that and show it off. Viejo, CW Long Shot, Reloading from the Hot Pot, GGW Outdoors, Mark Thomas, Lakeview Outdoors, Bama Dad, Tactical Fud, Gizzard Gary. What's up, Gary? Steve's Woodworking and Homestead, James Pugh, Edward Petty, Georgia Trapping and Fishing, 6-shooter Texan, Duffer 426, Jason Stewart, Idaho Rogers USMC, GGW Outdoors, Fluffy 10mm Jeep Guy, Info Bros, Trees a Blowing, Tim McDonough, New York Outcast, Dwayne 7834, Mrs. Hotshot, Hillbilly Up, Steve's Woodworking again, Lakeview Outdoors, Tim S. Papa's Place, Broke Loader 2, Scott the Scottish American, Chris from the 740, Corners and Doors, Vanessa Kitty, Ron Wayne, Andy 79Z28 Garage Guy 879, Paul Loud Info Bros, MCK, Johnny 1982, Mike White 2A Advocacy, Walks Fletcher, Vanessa Kitty, Reloader 762, Floridian, Bama Dad, Gort, welcome in, buddy, Rollis Carvelis, Mrs. Hotshot, M1A2 Abrams Tank, Ron the Bullet Guy, Pat in the Bunker, Ron Wayne, Paul's Place Hobbies Hobo, and I think we got everybody, some of them twice or three times. I wish we were John's Hand Loading. What's going on, buddy? Long time no see. Oh, one guy. Andre D'Angelo. Lever Guns 50. What's going on, buddy? Hobbies Hobo. Yeah, we've been missing you, buddy. All right.
I want to say this, John's Hand Loading. Yes, we are giving away a T7 tonight, and we will send you the address of the winner so you can ship it to them.
I know that guy. What's going on, Single Shot? From upstate New York. Guys, I can't keep up with y'all. William Baders from Chandler, Arizona. Okay, where were we?
Viejo. No, Viejo. First two presses.
Oh, first two presses. Okay. So my first one was back in about 1977, 78 or so. It was a big, beefy cast iron C press made by Texan. And I used that quite a while. I used it for loading my 44 mags and a little bit of 223. And then the next one I got was a Hornady. And we were talking about this on Mac's interview thing he had a couple of weeks ago. And I said that the next press that I got, I had thought was the Hornady Lock and Load Progressive. But then I got to thinking about it. I have a Hornady single stage too, and I had sold that Texan press. And I think I got the Hornady single stage press, the Lock and Load single stage press next. And I still have that one, but I have since taken the Lock and Load Progressive press apart and gave away all the parts and threw the basic cast iron press, the body of it, in the trash. I didn't have a whole lot of fun with that press. I had a lot of issues with it, and I finally just junked it. But anyway, yeah, so that big Texan press, single stage, and then I think the next one was the Hornady Lock and Load single stage, which is a fine press. I still got it. It's a nice, big, strong press, too. And many more have followed suit into my garage.
Gene, do you remember your first two presses?
Oh, sure. When I first started reloading, the Reload Master had come out. So I jumped the gun and bought the full-on Progressive. Let's do this, right? Then the second press I bought was a single stage so I could learn how to reload. How about them apples? So I went kind of backwards with it, but thinking back about it, I'm glad I did. You know, I learned a valuable lesson. Go slow. Take your time. Don't jump the gun right away.
I think we had a rebel sighting.
Uh-oh. We got Misty and Mrs. Wayne out there, too.
Yeah. Miss Hotshot wants to know what kind of melting pot we are using for our casting. We might have to get into that next time. It's already 9 o'clock, and I think that could be a subject for a whole nother night.
Easily.
Yeah. Okay. Chris from the 740.
My my first press was RCBS turret, which I still have today, and I still use it on a lot. Then I went to the Lee Loadmaster when I started shooting competition because I had to figure out a way to load my 9mm faster. And believe it or not, those are the only two presses I have. My first two are my only two. I use that RCBS for everything.
It's a good
Other
one.
than 9mm.
Buy once, cry once, man. You did it right the first go around. The rest of us schmucks, it took us a while.
I probably eventually will get a Dillon. I'd like to start. I need a progressive to load 223. As much of it as I shoot now. But,
Dillon's a good choice.
the other stuff, I just prefer to load it on a turret press. I'm not shooting mass bulk amounts of it, but 223, 9mm, and those two, I need progressive for both of those.
Yeah, that's why I ended up with a couple. I started out with a single. It worked out so good. A friend I had through the shop was parting out everything he had and moving out down south, and he wasn't going to be reloading or shooting or anything. He was had some health issues, and he was just going for a drier climate. And I picked up his 550 for a real good price. It's actually a newer version than my original one. And then I had one for large primers and one for small primers. And then a couple of years ago, my buddy told me that his neighbor was looking to sell one for $400 complete. And I said, well, why did you even ask me? $400. You should have grabbed it. He said, oh, I can get it any time. And it took me about a year, but finally got that one. And that's the one that's still in the box under the bench. And it became $500 after it took so long to get it. But that's all right. $500 was still a pretty good deal for an all set up, complete, with dies and everything for a complete caliber, with a couple extra tool heads and a couple extra bonuses. So it was a pretty good deal. And that one will be probably set up for 300 black or something like that.
Let me see if I can do this. Mark Thomas, your first two presses?
First one was the little Lee hand press, and still have it. The second one was the Lee, the O press, because I didn't like the looks of that C shape. Looked like it was a little bit too weak. And I still have both of them. I use the single stage quite a bit. Any of my rifle stuff I do on there. And then when I got that 4-hole turret, I'm doing all my pistol stuff on that one. So that's my two main ones right now.
I bet it is, Dad. I bet it is.
Broke Loader sold his 550B. Whoever guns 50, I'd like to know
Hey,
what
man.
your first two presses were. And C.W. Johns hand loading had the same experience with his little Lee C press that we did. He wore it out.
The casing is just that pot metal casing. I got that. I got that press for free for buying a die set or buying some other lead tool. It came free, and then a few short years later, it was $10 for that little press. So this isn't the hand one. This is the one that bolts to the bench, but it's the very cheapest one. It's very light duty. It's almost like blow molded. I mean, it's very thin casted pot metal, and it literally wore out the back just from going up and down, from the ram going up and down, and then just cracked. So I can't really say anything bad about it. I mean, it's a light duty, not designed for a lot of use. It's a dandy for priming. If you're just priming cases on it with a ram prime, it's a dandy for sizing bullets. It's no good for any kind of rifle resizing, but it would be fine for pistol, where you got minimal effort, minimal force needed. It would work fine.
Mine stays real handy to my main bench. It's mounted on a cart right close by, and if I'm tuning in my my expander die, for example, and I get one that's over flared a little bit, and I still want to use it because it's already primed or something, and I shoot it over to that little Lee reloader press, they call it, run it up into a sizing die, resizing, bring it back and do it again. And I typically, when I come home from the range, I deprime my pistol brass right then, and that's what that little press gets used for a lot, is for depriming.
Yeah, depriming would be dandy for that. Yep.
Presses or motorcycles? 550, 750, 1150?
Yeah.
Right to the blue Kool-Aid. Way to go, man.
Absolutely. He did well for himself.
No, it's just like Chico. Chico went straight to the 650. Biggest thing with that is if you're gonna jump in and start off progressive, make sure you just pay attention, take your time, go slow. The speed
Yeah,
will come.
little Lee reloaders, Ed Petty's talking about those. I've got I must have 4 or 5 of them in pistol calibers. Just, I got them one at a time for cheap, just to kind of try them and play with them. They work fine. You're not going to load very fast, but if you want to take something to the range and reload at the range, the little Lee reloaders things are pretty cool.
I actually need to pick up another one of those Lee hand presses. I donated mine to somebody who needed it a few years ago because I wasn't really using it much. But I picked up a new 22 sizer for resizing and forming 22 rimfire bullets, and that press is perfect for that.
Makes sense, yeah.
But they've gone up incredible. The cheapest I can find them is like $50-$60.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a $20 press. That's all it is. I mean, it's nothing special.
Yeah.
It's $60
What are we talking about?
The little Lee hand press, the Nutcracker, the one that doesn't bolt to nothing.
Yeah, the
Hold it.
one.
Lyman used to offer one too, but it looked like a inexpensive C press, but it had a handle with some finger grooves on the top of it. But you never see those. You never see those anymore.
Right.
All right.
We didn't forget about Hillbilly, but I know he doesn't reload yet. So
All right, let me see if I can do this. Walter and CW, I am about to melt your hearts.
Uh-oh.
Sandra even liked that comment, Jamie. Over there giggling.
Y'all know what that is?
It's a Lyman press. I can't tell which one. Oh, it's a T-Mag.
It's a T-Mag. Brand new, looks like.
Brand new, still in the box. Vintage 1988.
Yeah.
Never been taken out of the box, never used. Handle
Very
never.
nice.
that belongs to Mr. Reloader 762.
I thought I saw that picture before. Yep.
Yeah.
And he made
That's a
the
great
guy
press.
an offer, and the guy took it.
I think I remember what the figure was too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're nice presses. They've got the little ears up on the top that you can mount your primer system to. Yeah, it's a great turret press. 6 station, I think. Is it the same as the Spar T?
I believe
think-
they are 6. Yeah.
I think they're also 6 station.
Yeah, 6 hole.
Slop remover in the back too.
All right,
Yep.
does that take the standard 7H14 dies?
Yes.
Or-
Yes. Yep. Boy, I'm envious. That's a great old press, and those things are beefy too.
Very cool.
I had
Oh,
both
wow.
of those, T-Mag and a T-Mag 2.
Mock's got a T-Mag,
Yes, he does.
6 station.
In fact, when I got my Spar T, Mock sent me some bits and pieces to get the priming system up and running on that press.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. Good
Okay.
video.
You know, we got a lot of guys out here watching. I want to say thanks to Chris and to Hillbilly Up for sharing our stream on their channels tonight. So we got a lot of guys watching that are not reloaders, or not yet reloaders anyway. So we need to do some stuff that be relating to them. And what's our favorite brand of firearms? And since Hillbilly Up didn't get to say anything about the presses, we'll let him start this round. And Hillbilly, tell us what your favorite brand of firearm is.
Oh, High Point.
That's what I was thinking he was going to say.
Hey, sorry about that. We're having like a little storm here, so I was kind of coming in and out. But you said favorite firearm?
What's your favorite brand of firearm?
Well, pretty much anything that'll take out a hard seltzer is my favorite. But I do. Oh man, you know me, Jamie. You know I really like the High Point and some other guns. Man, it's got to be those Smith & Wesson revolvers. I just love them. And Marlin lever actions.
There's a man after my own heart.
You betcha. But yeah, they're just my favorite to shoot.
All in all, Ruger from Steve, that'd be hard to argue with. All right, Mark Thomas.
I can't pick one. It's whatever's in my hand.
I know. I agree. There's one in every crowd, isn't there?
You picked some cherries there, boy.
Yeah.
There's a couple
Had at
more.
least one of those.
There.
I knew Lever Guns what he was going to say. Yeah. Mike White, you might want to come over to our channel to see all the comments. Um, Old Marlins are great, just like Old Smith. Yeah. Least favorite is Mossberg. Broke loader don't like Mossberg. Corners and doors, Ruger and Savage. Who's next?
I think
Chris?
I'm with Mark. That's a hard one, but if I could only ever buy one more brand of handgun, it'd be Walther for me. Rifles, probably have to say Ruger. Like my PC carbine, like my Ruger American. Handguns for me, 100% would be Walther.
So how many are we allowed to say?
We'll be here all night.
I know. So you guys in the side chat, keep them coming. Man, everybody's got those. Yeah. I saw a Facebook post. A friend had, a friend of a friend, but not a person that I know personally. But he had a old Remington semi-auto stolen out of his truck, and he's trying to get it back. Yeah. CZ for life.
Sounds like Ron likes everything but Glocks.
Yeah, I think Steve's in that same boat. Good night, John. Thanks for coming by, buddy. It's great to catch up with you a little bit.
good to see you, John.
Me and Ron Wayne's gonna get along really well, I can tell you. Scotsman, go for it. What's your favorite brands?
Oh man, you already know.
I know, but
For those of you that don't know out there, I'm an old Smith and Wesson guy through and through. There's nothing like blued steel and wood grips, man. It'll change your world, and it will. It'll change your world. I'm blessed to have many different ones, and then lever actions, man. I got Henrys, I got Marlins, and Henry's come up with side loading too, so there'll be some Henry side loads coming up here sometime soon. I gotta do some work on the Marlin because that Marlin does not want to feed properly. So I got the dreaded Marlin feed problem, which means I gotta take it apart and polish up that feed lifter. So we'll
most times with Marlins, if you just take it apart and clean it real good, it starts working.
I saw some companies making aftermarket one as far as the lifter itself, but none of them are here in the U.S. And I don't feel like waiting for 6 months to get it. So I'll strip it apart and do some work to it. We'll get it running. We'll get it running good.
It's hard to argue with that right there. I'm a Marlin kind of guy. I don't own any Winchesters, but maybe someday. Who we're up to? Walter?
Coming at you. Yeah, again, I'm with just about everybody else. I own a smattering of a lot of different companies, but I'm kind of following the Scotsman. I've got several Smith and Wessons, and some from several are from back in the 70s and early 80s. My 27 and 29 are both dash 2s, and those revolvers, the fit and finish on them is so nice. That big target trigger that's on there is just incredible. The trigger pull is incredible. A couple years ago, I bought a newer Smith & Wesson in 45 Colt, a Model 25, and it's a dash 15. Ain't the same Smith & Wesson as my older ones are, but those older Smiths are just really fine revolvers, with those great, hand grips on the big end frame revolvers. And I've got a nice little Smith & Wesson J-frame Chief Special snubby that was my dad's, and that's a great little gun to go shoot 38 wad cutters out of too. They're just slick and smooth shooters, but I would hesitate to buy a brand new Smith & Wesson nowadays. I just don't think they're worth the money. I think you can do just as well with a Ruger GP 100 or something as you can with the Smith & Wesson Model 27 from today. So that'd be my favorite for the revolvers. The semi-autos, I own several brands. I kind of like my Kimbers. I've got, I think, 4 Kimber semi-autos, and I like them. They seem to be well made, and they shoot well for me. But still, if I'm going to pick one, it's my old school Smith & Wesson revolvers, end frames.
It's hard to beat a Smith. Mr. Gene Hot Pot.
Well, let's see. I'm going to have to break this down into a few categories. As of I own right now, my favorite semi-automatic handgun is my Staccato P. My favorite revolver I have is my Ruger Red Hawk. Rifle have to be my Henry 45 Long Colt lever action. And semi-automatic rifle, I have to go with my Ruger PC carbine. That thing is so much fun to shoot. You can't load enough mags for it. You just can't keep them loaded. Just blast them off. So I'm gonna split mine into 4 areas. Other than that, I've owned this, I've owned that, I've gotten rid of this, gotten rid of that. So I've had a little bit of everything. I even bought a Jennings at a gun show just to buy it. I didn't keep it long, but I had to see it. I had to own one. I don't know why. I just did.
Thanks, man.
That's all I got.
So, I guess CW's all we got left, huh?
Kyle's still not here, huh?
Doesn't look like it.
It's not.
Go ahead, Walter.
No, it's CW's turn. It's all we got left, and that's not a bad thing at all.
No. No.
I was going to have to break it up into, oh, look at there.
Hi, Rigby.
Thought I heard some giggles.
Right, get on. What is that? You got a Lunchables? Yes, she has a Lunchables. I thought it was a cookie. You got ham and cheese.
So I can't pick just one. It's really too hard to pick just one. So I'm going to break it up into handguns and rifles and shotguns. Handguns, it's Ruger is very high on the list, but I can't not pick Colt. Colt's got the original single actions, which is what's near and dear to my heart. You've got Pythons and Diamondbacks that have got actions that everybody dreams to have. You got the venerable 1911. I just can't not choose Colt for a handgun manufacturer. For rifles, it's a tough one. Remington 700, Mauser. Mauser's high on the list for me. I've been a Mauser fan forever. Arguably, it's the bolt action that everybody copied to have what we have for bolt actions today. Ruger is very close to an old Mauser. Our own Springfield was sued by Mauser because they copied him. As long as it's not in 9mm. So I'm gonna have to say Mauser for my rifles, and then for shotguns, that's another one. There's so many great double barrels out there, American-made double barrels. There's so many great English and European double barrels out there. Then you got our own Remington 870 that's near and dear to my heart. So I'll probably have to say that Remington 870. So I've got Colt, Mauser, and Remington for my choices, my picks.
We have a sighting.
Count us off, Gene.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey.
Next week we're going to talk about melting pots and 16 gauges. Somebody asked earlier before we even got on the air. I gotta go deal with this dog. Somebody asked before we even went on the air what are the pros and cons of 16 gauge. Well, let's just go ahead and talk about that. I think we got enough time. The only thing I can say is a con for 16 gauge is that the ammo is not readily available at every store you go to.
I was having a conversation with this topic the other day with somebody on a forum, and I've got a couple of shops, and I've told you this, Jamie, that always have 16 gauge. Always, always, always. And you seem to always be able to get it online. So that tells me that there probably isn't such a shortage on it as much as these shops just are not buying it, are not putting it on their shelves when they can put up 12 gauge or 9mm and it sells and they return their money and they make dollars, and they buy 16 gauge and they invest in it because it sits on their shelves for who knows how long until one of the guys that's a diehard and comes in and buys a couple boxes because they haven't seen it. So I'm going to say I don't think it's that it's so scarce. I just think that it's not as popular, and especially in today's light, everybody is stupid 9mm. If it's not 9mm, it's nothing. and it's like it really irks me that everything has to be 9mm, and you don't find a lot of other stuff because of it, because 9mm sells. So I'm going to say it's probably largely that they're just not ordering it, because, like I say, you some shops have it. They have a clientele that buys enough of it, so they stock it, and then you can find it online. So it's out there. And I don't have one. I think I have 4 of them, and I do like it.
I think it was Glenn Davis who asked that question originally.
I know
Yeah.
M1A2 asked if anybody has any.
To me, I agree with Walks. It should be built on its own frame. I just think it's kind of like the Goldilocks of shotguns. You know, she gets in daddy's bed and it's too hard. She gets in mama's bed and it's too soft, but she gets in hers and it's just right. So it's that perfect wedge between a 16 and a 20. That sounds nice, Scott. Mark, thoughts on 16 gauge?
I have 2. Beautiful old Winchester autoloader and a single shot break action. And I have 8 boxes of shells stashed away that I'm trying not to shoot too many of until I get a loader so I can start reloading them.
Well, I have 2 Lee Loadalls, and I have one of them set up for 12 and the other one for 16, and I have a 20 gauge conversion kit. So
I have a 20 gauge.
I don't own a 410. I gotta fix that.
I got 3 of those.
Chris from the 740, thoughts on 16 gauge?
I have no thoughts on 16 gauge. I've never shot it. I've never owned one. I know nothing about it. I mean, I don't really have anything I can add to this.
I'll say this, and this is what I heard. The Weasel, correct me if I'm wrong, or CW will one. What I heard is over in Europe that's mainly what they shoot is 16 gauge and all their
a lot more popular. Yeah, a lot more popular.
And the reason for a long time in America you couldn't get 16 gauge shotguns or the ammo was very rare, was because they had semi-outlawed those guys coming over here with their 16 gauges and winning all the shotgun shooting competitions. Now, that's just a story I heard. I don't know if that's true or not. Weasel, thoughts on 16 gauge?
No, you're 100% right. 16 gauge. I don't know how popular it is now back home, but it used to be super, super popular all across the board with farmers, you name it. I remember when I worked on the farm, growing up working on the farm, it was 16 gauge. I believe it was a single shot. Pretty sure it's a single shot. Worked awesome. Never had an issue with it.
It's really nice. I really like them. It's that, like I said, it's that perfect wedge. Look at there, 6-shooter
Still want a
Texan.
10 gauge though, just because.
Right. You know they make 4, 6, and 8 gauges too. Once upon a time.
Yeah, I'm good with 10 gauge. 10 gauge, that's I'll draw the line there. I've had my hands on a few 10 gauges over the years, and they were super nice. I just never had the cashola to pick them up, take them home.
So Scotsman, was the popularity of it over there in Scotland because it was kind of a sweet spot between 12 and 20. Is that what it was, or did
Yeah,
it matter better? Or?
It works across the board for just about all kinds of hunting back there.
Okay.
So, I mean, a lot of hunting back there is all bird, and 16 gauge is perfect for that.
See, the thing about 12 gauge is, you know, we can all shoot 12 gauge fine if we're just shooting a few rounds, whatever. But when you go into a competition and you're not using a really high dollar gun, and shooting 100 rounds of 12 gauge is going to tell on you after a while. So 16 is pretty good. 20's fine. I mean, it'll do most stuff a 12 will, but yeah. I just really like that 16 gauge double barrel I've got. I'm going to be doing a few videos on that when time permits. Mr. Walter.
Well, I gotta plead the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth on this one because I've never owned a 16 gauge and never shot one. So I'm right there with Chris. I got no real input on it. I know about them, and there's guys out at the club who have them. Some of the kids in the youth program that we've got out there for trap have 16 gauges and shoot them instead of the 12s. For the reasons I think that you just mentioned, Jamie, is that you're going to go out and shoot a whole game all day long. You're going to probably wish you'd been eating ice cream or something all day instead of doing that with a 12 gauge. If you're an old guy like me or a youngster who only weighs 105 pounds or something. So other than that, I got nothing.
Gene?
I got nothing. I've never shot a 16 gauge. Shot a 410, 20, 12 gauge. Never been around a 10 gauge, but I wouldn't mind trying one. You know, it can only hurt for a little while.
Yeah, that's really popular. It's really popular for duck hunting, right, CW?
Yeah, especially with steel. Give you a little better, larger payload. Everybody's, talks about gauges and more power. They pretty much all have the ability to hit 1,300 feet per second. And the only difference you're getting with the gauges is payload, shot density. Number 4 shot at 1,200 feet per second has the same foot pounds in a 410 as it does in a 10 or an 8 gauge. It just doesn't have as many buddies with it.
I know a lot of local trap guys use 16 gauges, especially down at the Fish and Game. They go down there and shoot skeet. I've never shot one, but it's got me curious now. Maybe looking for one.
So Hobo's had to go eat dinner, and he's making me hungry. Man Carey put on here a few times SKS bolt action. I didn't know SKS was a bolt action. I thought it was a semi-auto.
It is.
And you would be correct, Jamie.
The model that I have has a gas cutout for the grenade launcher. And if you put that on, it technically is a single shot bolt action. You can only cycle the action by doing it manually.
Pretty cool. I actually have an SKS in there still packed in the Cosmoline. Tommy Boy says you need 1,400 feet per second or faster with steel.
The thing with steel is lighter than lead, so it's the same shot sizes, but you've got lighter shot charges. So lighter is going to be faster, but it's also going to slow down faster. Also, if you think about all your premium long range shotgun shells, they're all going to be nickel or copper plated shot. And the reason for that is to make the shot harder. Harder shot doesn't deform as easily when it's fired. Lead shot in a shot cup is getting all flat spots in it when you fire it down the barrel. So those flat spots act off the air and act off the pattern, and they degrade the pattern. They cause flyers and looser patterns. So the harder they can make the shot, the truer round spheres it can remain, so the tighter the patterns you get. So that's why steel shot shoots much tighter patterns. That's why steel shot requires a more open choke to do the same thing that lead does with a tighter choke. So you combine that ability to shoot tighter patterns with lighter shot columns that slow down faster. When you get a little more speed, you end up with a little more range than you're used to with lead if you've grown up shooting lead. So that's what Tommy Boy is saying when he's talking about you need speed, because that will somewhat overcome some of the downsides of steel shot. So you're shooting steel shot, you just need to not lead as much up close and lead more out farther, and know that your patterns are going to be tighter. So you don't want a conventional lead full choke for longer range stuff. You might want a modified or an improved modified, or a steel full choke. And that's where things get confusing, because you just read full and full and full is full. Well, no. Steel full is different than lead full. It's not as tight, not as constricted.
Good to know. So yeah. Okay, quickly. This is going to be a tough one in this crowd for the panel. Store-bought ammo, what's your favorite brand?
You want to start, Jamie?
Lately, there's Thorax. What's up, Dave? Good to see you, buddy. Pistol ammo, the Remington UMC, the green and white box. Rifle, for my hunting rifles, I'll always love that Winchester PowerPoint. I really like that stuff. And shotgun, just whatever I can get. I just want the hull so I can play with it. Store-bought.
I don't use much store-bought, but rimfire 22s, I would have to say CCI standard velocity. 22 Magnums. The number of them I like, but I really like that 50 grain Federal. Shotgun, again, I load that, but I used to have a real affinity for the old Remington Sure Shot. I really like those shells. Handgun, just defensive ammo is the only thing I buy, and I really like the HST loaded stuff. Rifle, I haven't bought rifle in forever, and hunting handgun I haven't bought in forever, so I couldn't say.
Congratulations to Chad. He finally got his platypus. Gene, you want to give this one a shot, buddy?
Sure, why not? Well, like most of us, I don't buy much store ammo. 22, it's the Blazer, and they buy CCI. That runs really good in my TX. Handguns, as far as like 9mm, I like the Blazer aluminum. Seems very consistent, and the chronoing on it's been very consistent. Runs really good in everything I've got as far as for testing. Rifle, have not bought store-bought rifle ammo in so long. I really don't have any to do. Shotgun, Winchester Double X. I like that.
Yeah.
12 gauge.
Absolutely.
But that's a hard question among this group. You know that? I mean,
it is.
My Sig Spectre comp loves that SAR ammo because it's so hot. It's that NATO spec from Turkey, so it loves it. But I gotta develop a load for that. That's what I got to do. Stop using that factory ammo.
Yeah, I'm kind of wanting to get into more shotgun loading stuff too. Tim McDonough's checking out. Papa's Place checking out. Y'all have a great weekend. Edward Petty's like the rest of us, don't buy much factory. Hornady Critical Defense for my carry ammo. There's a big difference between critical defense and critical duty, as I learned. I just can't remember what it is. Chris from the 740.
I'm like everybody else. As much as I hate buying factory ammo, I have to buy it to review stuff on the channel, so I'll make it quick. Rimfire, CCI all the way. Pistol, CCI Blazer. It's economical and it works. It goes bang every time. Shotguns, definitely Winchester AA. And for my rifle ammo, Hornady's about the only thing that's going to remotely come close to reloaded ammunition. So those are my four.
Cool. Weasel.
Man, I haven't bought ammo in a long time. Generally carry ammo, Federal HST, and with the 22, obviously I gotta buy 22. So right now I still have the same box I bought when I first got the gun, so that would be a Winchester box. But I will never use Winchester White Box 9mm ever again, no matter what. Period.
Hey, it's good training ammo to clear malfunctions.
If you want malfunction training, absolutely.
Buy in bulk for that.
All day long.
Every time I buy a box of 50 of those to test red dots and stuff on the channel, I'm like, what? How many of these are not going to go off?
I had 2 different guns with me at that match, and literally every other round. Definitely good training for sure.
Yeah. Thoraxes. Yeah. I've never bought much Federal shotgun shells, but I've shot a good bit of the Winchester AA and the Remington stuff. Yeah. That's for you, Scotsman. If you think the white box is bad, try one of Winchester's 9mm steel.
Nah, I won't do steel case anything
Yeah.
Other than the AK, I mean, the AK will feed pretty much anything, but yeah, I wouldn't do steel case in any pistol or anything like that. You see sparks flying, you know you got problems. Yeah, don't shoot that in handguns. Not good.
James, I don't know what to say about that, man, except for, yeah,
Lucky.
lucky. Blessed. You've got a guardian angel watching out for you. Walter, what store-bought ammo do you like?
Well, I'm going to be like a broken record here. I haven't bought any handgun or rifle ammo from the store in a long time. Well, I'll take that back. When I bought that Kimber 38 Super, they had 2 boxes of 38 Super on the shelf at the store, and I brought those home because I wanted it for the brass. I shot those 2 boxes up and just to get the 100 cases that I could reload. But and that was Winchester ammo, and it was Winchester ammo. It wasn't much. But what I do buy and use for store-bought ammo is for 22. And I actually haven't bought any of that a long time because here several years ago, California banned us from getting ammo sent directly to our house. If you're going to buy it online, you have to have it sent to an FFL and pay them, a processing fee for it. So just before that went into effect, I stocked up tall, deep, and wide on 22 and 17 HMR. So I got enough of that. But I like the Blazer. The CCI Blazer works better for me than any of the other actually in that price range. If you want to go out and find yourself a box of Ely or Lapua or something 2022 stuff and spend $30 a box for it, more power to you. But the CCI Blazer works better for me than the CCI Standard Velocity in my 22s. Why, I don't know. But that's what I use. And I've got all the others. I've got lots of 22 ammo, but I like the 22 Blazer the best, the CCI. So that's it for me. Oh, I should say I do have some store-bought ammo that's been on the shelf for a while, and I need to go shoot it and replace it. And it's Hornady Critical Defense for home defense stuff. But that's been sitting way too long, and I need to go to the range with that stuff and shoot it up and replace it. Yeah, Tommy Boy, exactly. Yeah, the wax coating's better than that graphite stuff was. Some of the worst I've shot is that Remington Golden Bullet. Ugh.
The bucket of bullets.
Oh gosh, those the heads in those things are loose as a goose, and you can take them and still. It's like the bullets are mounted in ball bearings inside the case or something. You just take and spin them around.
I had some old Thunderbolts that were even worse, and boy, would they let up a barrel.
Yeah, they're pretty.
I can't say I've got any particular favorite. Usually, whatever's affordable. I guess if we look through my rifle ammo in the box downstairs, you're going to see a lot of Remington and Federal, but everything else is a mixed bag. And now, since I've gotten into reloading, whatever I buy that's inexpensive is just going to get shot up so it can get loaded with what I want in it.
Absolutely. That's all of us, Mark.
Yep.
Mr. Pugh, I would, if you're having failure to fires out of your Marlin 35 Remington, I would highly recommend that you take that bolt apart and clean that two-piece firing pin and the cavity that it rides in. I think that might be your problem rather than the ammunition. Because I used to, when we first started doing this stream, I'd really give Remington ammo down the country because I have failure fires with my 35 Remington, but I can take that same ammo now and shoot it in my stuff and it all works okay. But yeah, that's where we're at. So now we've got about 9 minutes to go through the room and tell what everybody's got coming up, and we'll bid these nice folks a good night and a good weekend and clear the deck for Mr. Gizzard Gary. Mark Thomas, you want to go first? What are you working on?
Sure. I got some stuff loaded up last week that I didn't get to shoot yet this week, so that's going to be on the plans. I still have a bunch of leather work to work on. In fact, I got to make a trip out to the store and get some more supplies because I'm just about out. We're just enjoying our summer. We're getting up when we want, kind of in the morning, and going to the pool a day here and there, going to the range when we can. So that's just what's on the plans. I really wanted to get out and shoot a video, that idea that Walter came up with last week about, just around town. And I think I'm going to work on that one at some point early next week, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. I think that one will be fun. What
That
about
was
you,
Curtis,
Walter?
I think. Okay, so I got the Moldy Monday coming out. I got a whole bunch of those all queued up, and I'm starting to work on kind of a goofy one that's going to take me a while to do, but it's going to be the making of a Moldy Monday video. And I'm going to walk everybody through the whole process of what it takes me to put that video out, from collecting the lead to, putting it into ingots, casting the bullets, shooting the video, editing some screenshots and stuff of all the editing stuff that has to go on. So that's going to take me a couple, 3 weeks to put that together, but I started working on that one. So there's going to be little bits of half a dozen other casting videos that are in that. But so I got that going on. Moldy Monday's going to keep rocking and rolling. I counted up, I got 30 more moles that I can do, and we're up to number 20 on Monday. So that's what I got going on. SOS, I guess.
Pretty cool, man. Mr. Weasel.
I always appreciate the link, man. Always good to be here when I can be here. Great chat. Good to see you there in the side chat. Again, I got Edward's video, and I will make it into my video and do some editing and the minimal editing that I'm capable of to make it into something else. And we'll get that out here the next day or two. And then I also have a couple other videos I gotta get made and put out there, as well as one for this channel. So guys, be looking for that. And help out Lakeview. You guys have any questions or if you have any concerns, reach out to me, talk to me. I'll walk you through it, explain it to you, and trust me, every dime is going to Lakeview. None of that stays here with me. Never has, never will. We've done I don't know how many of these things now over the years, and trust me, not a dime stays here with me. Probably more money goes out from here than the money you guys send here. So trust me, it all goes to where it's supposed to go. So I appreciate it more than you know. Families appreciate it more than you know. And that's why I really appreciate this community and what this community does each and every damn day. You guys always blow me away, and makes me proud to be an American. So thank you, and God bless America.
Amen, brother. Thanks for being here. And I probably shouldn't say it out loud, but I will. I'll take an entry for that lever gun. I'm telling you. That is so cool. I'm also going to get myself a entry for Mr. Bald's 1911 and 10 millimeter. It's a Kimber. $50 an entry, guys. Get in touch with Bald and Curious. Mr. Chris from the 740.
Thank you so much for having me on tonight. I had a great time. I always love coming over here on Friday nights, hanging out with all you guys. It's a lot of fun. We got the Wednesday night live chat coming up. 9 p.m. Eastern. I don't have a topic and I don't have any guests yet. I'm going to figure that out tomorrow.
Wing it.
Yeah, we're going to wing it. I kind of bought a new gun yesterday.
Oh boy.
The gun's so new that it wasn't in the system yet. They only had one of them there.
Echelon?
No, I will not buy a Springfield. Anyway, I put a deposit down on it, so at least I'll be the first one to have it here. And it's a brand new gun. It just came out. So I got a deposit on that. The owner of the gun store will be back from vacation Monday. I actually bought a gun, and I don't even know how much I'm going to pay for this thing. They didn't even have a price on it yet, but I wanted it, and it's a gun that I really wanted to get, so I went ahead and put a deposit on it. So I'll have that coming up here. I got a new product in from Breakthrough Clean. I released a little short teaser today for that. So that video will be coming out next week, and got a lot of cool stuff coming up. So thanks again. I really appreciate it. And I do want to thank everybody out in the side chat that was on my chat Wednesday night and donated to Lakeview. That was just amazing. I was blown away by all the support you guys gave us. And I just want to let everybody know, too, that check was mailed out yesterday. So Lakeview should be getting that money any day now. So thanks again. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for being here, Chris. We always appreciate you coming on, man. Same with all of our panel members. It'd be kind of boring if I was sitting here doing this by myself. Nobody would watch. I'm telling you, they would. Mr. Gene, what you got coming up, brother?
Oh, going to the range tomorrow and doing some testing on my new 10mm Rock Island. Need to get the springs tuned in with the load I'm going to be running. And I need to get some rounds fired through it. Darn, I need to break into 10mm. Woe is me. Hey, thanks for having me on. I always appreciate it. Look forward to Friday nights. We always have such a great panel, great side chat. And, man, what everybody's doing for Lakeview is just outstanding, tremendous family, brotherhood, tribe, take care of each other kind of thing. And it's been wonderful to see all this. Other than that, though, man, I hope everybody has a blessed weekend. Take good care of yourselves. And always remember to live, love, laugh, and reload.
Thank you, Mr. Gene. We appreciate you very much, brother. CW Longshot, what are you working on, buddy?
Well, those last two videos I did really were pretty popular. So I was cleaning up those marlins when I put them back in the safe, and that video went off pretty good. So I think I might drag out a couple more and do something else like that. I really should have done it before I got rid of a couple of them, but that's all right.
Yeah, drag out a couple of your shotguns.
Yeah, I should do that. I've got a couple of really nice ones that I really like, and should do that. But that's it. Stay tuned. Everything good stuff going on with Lakeview stuff. So keep an eye on Scotsman for that. And turn it over to you, Jamie, for our closing.
Okay, let me see if I can do this. Monday nights at 9 o'clock, we got Mr. MacMan. Tuesday nights at 8 Eastern is the Reloading Podcast. Wednesday night, 9 Central, 9 Eastern is Mr. Chris from the 740. Thursday night is either AR Guns 1776 or High Boy. Friday night, of course, is us. Saturday, we've got 6 o'clock G23, 8 o'clock Uncle Jim, 10 o'clock. These are all Eastern times. You got Hillbilly Up. Sunday at 2 in the afternoon, you got the Reloading Shed with Georgia Trapping and Fishing. uh, 7 o'clock, the Sunday night roundtable with Alan and the Weasel on the Scottish American channel. And then I think that's all. Did I miss anything or anybody?
You forgot
Peter.
Gizzard Gary after
Gizzard
us.
Gary.
Yeah, Gizzard Gary's on right now. So head on over there. Y'all have a great weekend. We love you. We hope the Lord blesses y'all real good. And if He's willing, we'll see you back next Friday night at 8 o'clock. Say good night, y'all.